Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be doing the top 5 civilizations that need a nerf in Age of Empires 2. Let's hop right in and check it out. Now when it comes to balance discussion, no one's right or wrong, and in fact it's a very hot topic. It's discussed amongst discords, in AoE forums, and as well on the subreddit for Age of Empires 2. And so really when it comes to this topic, it's very controversial and everyone has their own opinions and ideas, so there's no way to get an objective truth. But hey, I'm a big fan of the game. I play it almost every day, if not every day, and I personally love talking about balance as well. So I figured why not make a video, and with my top 5 series that I've got going on, I figured it's the perfect candidate to hop right in and make a nice little video here. And because the balance of Age of Empires 2 is usually very good, in fact right now it's in a very good state in my opinion. Most civilizations feel very fair and pretty balanced, but because of the new DLC that came out in the big patch, of course some of the civilizations became a little bit crazy, as well as some of the existing strong civilizations in there. So I'm gonna go ahead and give you guys my list as to the civilizations that I think deserve a nerf, whether small or big, and feel free to agree or disagree, and if you disagree, let me know in the comments, and if you agree, also let me know in the comments. So without further ado, let's hop right in and check it out. Starting off at number 5, I've got a bit of a surprising one, but it's actually the Poles. Poles are actually a very strong civilization. Despite what you might think about them, they're a very weird and hard to play civilization, so I guess for the average player, they're not gonna really feel all that strong. But once you combine all their bonuses, which I personally really like, I think it's a unique civilization, but all their bonuses just feel a little bit too strong. And I like the concept of their bonuses, but I think the numbers on them are a little bit too high. And let me give you 2 bonuses in particular that bother me. The first one being the farming bonus. I think it's actually ridiculously strong right now, the full work and what it gives for you. So I think a small nerf in that department can be very well warranted. But the bigger of the 2 problems is the gold to stone ratio, or the gold that you get from mining stone. I think right now it's at 50%. It probably should be kind of hit down to 33% or something like around that area, just because right now Poles can get away with so much by just mining stone and then going for big plays with castles. And in my opinion, the one big downside of going for a forward castle or simply investing into a castle right away is that you're mining stone instead of the other crucial resources. With Poles, unfortunately, you just get way too much value for mining stone. So not only do you get the benefit of having castles everywhere, which is a really strong idea, but also you get the other resources, and especially gold being a very valuable one in the mid game. So they need a small nerf, but not the major one. But in my opinion, it feels a little bit unfair to play against them in certain cases, especially on those closed maps, and they have a very strong win rate on arena as well, which I just lost an arena game to Poles today, but that has nothing to do with my pick here today, I promise. Alright, hopping in at number 4, we've got the Britons. It's almost like a bit of a meme. I don't know if you guys know the Nerf Britons please guy on my channel, commenting that on every video. But honestly, Britons probably do deserve a nerf. It's a very strong civilization, and in my opinion, it is the only civilization on the flank in team games right now that feels completely unfair to play against. Like, other civilizations are very strong with the archers, but Britons, in my opinion, completely stands out as just being completely unfair. The extra range in today's meta is simply dominant, and not only that, but they have a fantastic eco with double eco bonus behind it, like the sheep and the town centers being cheaper. Now in 1v1s, I think Britons are a strong civilization, but definitely manageable. So for 1v1s, they seem fine, but for team games, they're way overtuned. So they're actually very overtuned, and they feel extremely difficult to play against. Even if you have some of the other strong civilizations like Mayans or whatnot, Britons will pretty much be able to dominate you every game. And I think that just a small nerf to Britons to make them a little bit weaker in terms of economy. So yes, they got the extra range, but at the same time, they're not going to be developing as fast. Would make for a nice healthy balance for the team games and the team game ladder. So small nerf for Britons, and that would make the game a little bit healthier, especially in the team game department. Next up, we've got a new civilization, well, kind of new, Hindustani. Now, Hindustani is a civilization that was the old Indians, and it's a very cool one, but recently they've got a lot of options, and getting access now to the Ghulam from the Castle Age gives them a really strong answer to what was previously their biggest weakness, which was Meso civilizations. And so now that they've got a lot of options going for them, the great economy that they've always had with the cheaper villagers, they're becoming quite the menace. Now, Hindustani does have a downside, a major one, which is not having access to knights, so they can only go for the camels. However, I think that in most cases, especially in 1v1s, you're totally happy playing camels and skirmishers, and their camels are ridiculously insane versus knights right now. So what was a counter to knights as the camel has now become for the Hindustani an insane counter to knights, and it can feel very frustrating to play against this civilization as a cavalry civ at the moment. Not only that, but if you switch over to halberdier, they've got tons of options with the hand cannoneer and the heavy cav archer, as well as skirms, of course, that they can easily go into. So it feels like it's a civilization that has an answer to everything: camels, ghulams, skirms, you name it, hand cannoneer with a great range, plus a great economy behind it, and those two in combination just makes for a very unfair civilization to play against. And so I don't know exactly how to nerf Hindustani, but I think it definitely is a civilization that needs to get nerfed at this point. So let me know what you guys think about this one. Pretty new civ, but I think at this point I'm confident saying it needs a little bit of a nerf. Number 2, we've got Burgundians. Now, in my opinion, I would put this at number 1 because I think this civilization is completely ridiculous. It has bonuses that have absolutely zero counterplay. It can get resource technology, so economy upgrades for cheaper and an age earlier. So not only do you get more resources before like literally feudal age, you're also getting in feudal age faster wood shopping. So if the guy isn't like tower rushing you or going very aggressive, you will naturally just get so far ahead because of this bonus. And not only that, they have amazing bonuses going forward. So they've got the relics that they can get in castle age that gives them double value, which is just absolutely insane. And then the most OP part about Burgundians, of course, not the Flemish Revolution, but the Coutelier or the Coutelier, one of the most overpowered and unfair unique units I've ever had the misfortune of playing against. Absolutely ridiculous. The charge mechanic is something that is easily abused at the high level, and they can easily hit and run and get max damage off the charge and simply run away while it's reloading. So it ends up being a one-time damage with the charge, ends up being just like a hit and run tactic every 30 seconds that you cannot avoid if you're playing against them because they move so quickly. Crossbows will get melted, monks get one shot before sanctity, cav archers are getting two shot, especially in imp. It's completely ridiculous. Almost feels like there's no counter. The best thing you can do against them is just go for knights, but then if you go knights versus couturier, they can have access to halberdier and Flemish Revolution in Imperial Age, so you literally have nothing going for you. And if you guys are ready to suggest pikes, well, let me tell you in advance, pikemen will not solve the problem. They will 2-tap your pikemen, hit them with 10 couturier, run into your pikemen, take one shot, and then kill 3-4, and then run away and go heal, and there's no counterplay. Your pikes cannot kill them that fast. The charge attack is simply too strong. So very passionate about Burgundians. It needs a heavy nerf in my opinion. Between the economy and the units it has available for itself, it's completely unfair to play against and one of the strongest civs in the game right now. Alright guys, before I show you number 1, which I'm sure a lot of you guys can probably guess right now if you've been taking a look at any win rate statistics around Age of Empires 2 or even just playing on the ladder at all. Let's talk about some honorable mentions here so you guys don't get too crazy on me. I got 3 honorable mentions and they're all 3 pretty classic civilizations from conquerors or before, and that's going to be Franks for number 1. Now you guys have obviously heard my video about the Franks and what I think about them. However, the stats don't lie and Franks have a very high win rate at the moment. I also think Franks are one of those civilizations that are just very smooth and very strong, so a small nerf to Franks to kind of just make them a little bit easier to deal with might be healthy for the game, especially for the intermediate players as well, because I know Franks is very dominant around, you know, 14 to 1600 on the ladder is a very big Franks fiesta, so a small nerf to Franks can be warranted. Next up as well, we've got the Mayans for the honorable mentions. I'm not really sure how you hit the Mayans or nerf them, but Mayans are just one of the strongest civilizations and they've been the strongest for a long time when it comes to 1v1s on a variety of maps as well, so I can see Mayans taking a small hit, but like I said, I don't know exactly where you nerf them. Maybe their economy, they just feel very well rounded and very strong in a lot of cases, so probably a small nerf to Mayans can be worth it, but maybe not. And last civilization for honorable mentions, we've got the Chinese, arguably the best 1v1 Arabia civilization, except the number 1 spot that I've got on this list. They're not the undisputed best these days though. There's a few civilizations that can definitely keep up with the Chinese on Arabia, but I think the Chinese, once people mastered the start, which at this point most of us have, it's really not the most difficult thing in the game to get a hang of. Chinese will just be up 2 villages from the start of the game, but not only that, they get cheaper upgrades throughout the game and some really solid tech options. So combining the early 2 villager lead plus the savings throughout the game and a very broad tech tree, Chinese are just a very strong civilization and a very difficult one to play against as well. So Chinese, I'm not sure how you nerf them, but a small nerf maybe to the tech tree, maybe take away heavy camo, limit their options a little bit, can be a decent way to tackle that civ, but it only needs a small nerf in my opinion because the civilization does have some weaknesses right now and is a little bit fragile in certain cases. Alright guys, the moment we've all been waiting for, we've got the Gurjaras at number 1. Like I said, this civilization is completely bonkers. Look at any win rate statistic, it's off the charts, it's 60 plus, I think even 65% the last time I checked it out, across a lot of ELOs as well. It's an absolute ridiculous civ. Where do I even start? It has an amazing economy just from the start of the game. What was once a very wacky eco bonus, which is the sheeps going in the mill, when it first came out, no one was really sure how strong it is. At this point, it's basically like the Chinese bonus. It gives you 2 villages on food from the very start of the game, and obviously it comes at the the downside of not taking your sheep, but basically what players do is just use the berries early game. They'll lure both their boars, and then they'll also lure deer to the town center, so there's no shortage of food for the Gurjaras, and it's quite easy to defend your mill usually, so you have 2 villagers on food the entire game from the very beginning. Not only that, but the Shawarma rider, or Shawarma rider as I call it, is actually extremely strong. I thought it was bad when it first came out, but it turns out it's really strong, very fast moving, very cheap, has a lot of micro potential, a lot of raid potential. The dodging arrows ability is really strong for it, and of course the most broken thing about Gurjaras in my opinion, the 50% bonus damage on their camels. I mean, this is ridiculous. You're taking a unit that's already decent, the camel, versus knights, and making it completely overpowered against knights. You just simply cannot even show your face with any cavalry unit versus Gurjaras because their camels will eat you alive. Not only that, but both their unique techs are very relevant, so they have amazing bonuses in the early game, and then they also get very strong in the late game because they'll pick up both the unique techs, getting extra armor on their camels and also saving a lot of resources when they go for any food unit, which is Hussar, Camel, Skirm, Halb, you name it. Alright guys, that's going to do it for my top 5 civilizations that need a nerf. Civilization balance is a very hard topic to tackle because no one's right or wrong. It's very hard to be objective, and while I try my best to bring you guys the most with my game knowledge, at the end of the day, it's very difficult for me to give you guys facts in a game that's so complicated like Age of Empires 2. So I'm trying to bring to you guys my opinions and the reasonings behind them to try to tell you guys why I think a certain thing is the case, and hopefully that's entertaining and interesting to listen to. Let me know what you guys think about this. If it does well on the YouTube algorithm or whatnot, or if it gets a lot of views and attention from you guys, I could make a top 5 civilizations that need a buff and we can go from there. But thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.